Hi, I'm Jimster71 and today we are taking our first look at top-down arcade racer Circuit Superstars. The game is being developed by Original Fire Games, published by Square Enix Collective, and has recently launched on Steam as an early access title. I'm going to be going through the various game modes, showing the features currently available, as well as showing some gameplay. With it being early access, the game is still very much in development, and as such might be a bit bare bones in places. More content and general polish will be added over the next few months in the lead up to a full release on both PC and consoles. Before we get into the details, I'm getting close to 500 subscribers on the channel, so if you feel like hitting that subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. First up, we'll be taking a look at the current game modes, and we already have a good selection to choose from. Free play allows you to set up a race or tournament with any track and vehicle combination. You get a choice of parameters such as the number of races, cars and laps, AI difficulty, qualification requirements, plus things like collision settings, fuel use and tyre wear. Once you've chosen your options, your setup can then be saved as a preset for future sessions. You can play this as a single player event or in split screen couch co-op with up to 3 friends. AI cars will then make up any remaining numbers for the race. Arcade mode is the main single player offering and gives you a number of events to play through. These start with a 3-race series of 5 laps each against easy AI opponents, and go up to a 5-race event, each covering 25 laps against the hardest AI level. Time Trials is another single player mode, which gives you 3 different events to set your best time. Each event has a fixed car and track combination, and times are recorded on a global leaderboard. This leaderboard can be filtered between global times, your friends' times, or your time, and for each event you get a choice over the type of ghost car that will run with you on the track. You can race against just yourself, a friend, or try to learn from faster players. The trio of time trial events is refreshed on a weekly basis to keep the competition fresh. Online multiplayer is the last of the game modes, and as you'd expect, pits you against other players online. This mode can be played solo, or you can bring along your couch co-op friends. There's a choice of 3 different events, and all players in the lobby get a vote to choose which event will be played next. The choice of events is cycled periodically as with the time trials. Currently there's no way to set up an online multiplayer game with friends, but this is something that the developers are keen to add to the game. Onto the vehicles now, and there are currently 6 different classes in the game, each of which has just the one vehicle available. Grand Prix cars are represented with 60s and 80s GP classes, GT cars make an appearance, as well as muscle cars, superlights and even Euro trucks. The vehicles are all nicely detailed and are easily recognisable in their category. The handling for each of the vehicle classes is very distinct, and not quite as arcadey as you would expect from a game of this type. The developers have tried to make the game accessible, but also add some depth to the driving physics. Driving a proper racing line and learning to control the throttle will lead to much better results and lap times than having the accelerator slammed down and trying to slide around every bend. For longer races, damage, fuel usage and tyre wear can become a consideration, requiring you to pit in for repairs, new tyres and fuel. This adds an extra layer of tactics to the racing, especially regarding the tyre wear, as this can make a massive difference to lap times. The game currently has 6 different tracks to race on, and a few of those have different layouts available. Each of the tracks is tarmac based and has a good combination of varied corners and straights. Graphically they look very nice with lots of detail to distinguish each location. One of the tracks is still marked as beta, so I'd expect that one to change a bit over the coming months. Whilst the game doesn't physically keep you on the track, during time trials and races there's a penalty system in place, in order to dissuade you from cutting corners and keeping within the track limits. There are some customization options available that allow you to alter the look of your racing driver, your crash helmet or each of the vehicles, and this takes the form of being able to choose between a few livery designs as well as full control over the colour scheme. There's also a choice of 2 body types for your driver, and you can set a racing number for the vehicles. As you race you will earn XP for things like mileage covered, fastest laps, pole positions and race finishes. This increases your driver level, which unlocks additional livery designs for your driver or vehicles. Into the settings and you get a few standard graphics options to play with. I'm running the game on Ultra at 1080p and 60 frames a second, and I'm playing on a laptop which is an i5-8300 with a 6GB GTX 1060 and 16GB of RAM. There's some viewport settings which allow you to change how the split screen works. You can choose between horizontal and vertical splits, or whether each of the mini screens has got a border. Audio settings are pretty standard, allowing you to set the level of music and sound effects. There are settings to control how much rumble each pad uses, as well as a language select and how many race replays you want to store. That's all the details covered, so how does the game actually play? Well, I'm glad to say that first impressions are positive. I really like the varied handling of the cars, and that they chose to add a bit of depth to the driving model. The pit stops help add some strategy to the game, and there's definitely the potential for some good racing here. The variety of vehicle types is already decent, and I believe there are more on the way. Some dirt tracks and rally style cars might be a nice addition though, to mix things up a bit. I also like the graphical style of the game. Visuals have loads of personality and are reminiscent of something like Micro Machines. Plus I like that the customization allows you to personalise your cars and driver. Audio does its job, but it's never going to compete with the more realistic driving games when it comes to engine sounds. In split screen I did notice that you only had audio for one of the screens, which seemed a bit odd for the other players in the game. Online races were pretty much lag free from what I could tell, which was good to see, but due to the limited player base at the moment it could sometimes take a while to find a game. Once you had a group of players, then they would normally stick around for a few races. The game could definitely do with a rank mode online once the player base increases, as it can be quite a mix of skill levels in the lobby. Newer players might feel a bit out of their depth when pitted against the more experienced players. I'd also like to see some sort of optional penalty system for collisions in the game, to encourage clean racing for those who wanted it. Some lobbies can suffer from bumper car syndrome at the moment when you get to the corners. I didn't get much chance to try out the split screen racing yet, so I'm not sure on the performance hit to get it running well. It seems smooth enough running with 2 players on my system though. Private online lobbies and being able to invite friends into public online games will be essential for a game like this, so I hope this is added before too long. As mentioned before, the devs are still hard at work on the game, with the priority on server stability, bug fixes, and then adding some new cars and tracks to the game. Hopefully my other concerns will also be addressed in future updates, but for now I think the current game is still well worth a few hours of your time. I've been Jimster71, thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, a dislike if you didn't, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. But until next time, bye for now.